Should we go into the final section of the show, guys?
Yeah.
This is. Shall we start with Little Jack's Corner before we get into our conclusions?
So, just to explain, this is a section of the podcast where we take a look at what people on Metacritic are saying about the game. It probably won't surprise you that this game has got great reviews on Metacritic. People mostly love it. Would you rather hear the negative reviews?
I think it's the negatives because I think we've been loving it.
Well, I will get round to the.
I'm sure the negative reviews are like, you get killed so easily.
Can I quickly mention?
No. Yes.
On IGN, Dan Steepleton. Is that his name?
I think is he their reviewer, like sort of overarching bod guy? Or is he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but he basically put up an article about how he hated Bloodborne and gave his reasons for hating Bloodborne. And I read the article before I played Bloodborne. I thought that all sounds right. Makes sense. Since I've played Bloodborne, I just think he's just been shit at the game.
I think that comes across. Like when
we'll leave that one in.
When you look at the Metacritic reviews, you can tell the people who got like just a few hours into it and then just dropped it because they haven't understood the mechanics, which I can't blame them for at all.
No, not at all.
So this person here, we've got TK79, who I assume was born in 1979. The poor
same as me.
Sod. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they say
the year Margaret Thatcher got in.
Yeah.
She's like a character in Bloodborne.
Yeah.
She's like a boss. You'd have to fight her.
That's why they're all out on the hunt. They're looking for Thatcher. Just taking all our jobs.
The foxes are in for it.
Now we've got
So this comment is fairly representative of the negative reviews. So they gave it a 4. But they say, this game is too frustrating and difficult. I've been playing games for 20 years. And I feel like every Metacritic review always has someone saying, I've been playing games for 20, I'm a hardcore gamer.
Man and boy.
Exactly, yeah. And while I enjoy the challenge, I feel the game's difficulty actually starts making it tedious. The biggest gripe is a complete lack of save points until the end of a level. So that's not technically true, is it?
No,
Firstly, there are no save points, really. There's shortcuts.
Basically, you kill a boss, you get a save point.
Well, would you call them save points?
There's a couple of places where there's lamps.
We didn't even talk about the lamps, really, did we? So the lamps you get when you... Certain areas you'll find a lamp and you light it, and that's your conduits back to the Hunter's Dream where you can level up, and also it's where you can come back to.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So this person says, this means I had to play it around 20 times to get to the first boss, and even after I killed it, after another 10 attempts, there was no save point. So they've obviously not understood how the system works.
This all goes back, I mean, it's a totally valid complaint. I mean, it's actually well written for a Metacritic review as well. The
thing is that they have got the internet because they're writing this on Metacritic.
Well, that is true.
They might have penned a letter to Metacritic and they go and say, additionally, every time you use...
Dear sir, for shame!
Additionally, every time you use your inventory items, you don't get them back when you die. It's just ridiculous. I understand this game was designed to be challenging, but it doesn't reward you when you spend ages clearing an area full of difficult enemies. But I feel it does reward you.
Yeah,
can I make a point on that clearing the items? I don't want my items back once I die. That makes sense to not have that. But losing blood vials to a boss, like you usually have to get through like 10, 15 blood vials on most of the bosses, and then dying. Once you've gone through them, and then you've got to then
I always go back to that first bit and farm them.
Farm them, and that's quite irritating because but then I wouldn't know how they'd get around that because I kind of think the blood vial system is what is interesting in the boss.
You know what, as well, like we talked about this. So in the Hunter's Dream, there's a chest, and I didn't know the chest existed until we started talking about it. So I was wondering why there was a little icon when I picked up items, and then I was wondering why sometimes it appeared to me that I got my blood vials back after a boss fight, and I'm like. So you do get them back after a boss fight. That's unusually easy of boss fights.
Yeah.
But then because I've obviously played the other games in the series, and then it turns out it's because they were in my chest.
Yeah.
And I didn't realise that. For ages.
Auto stored them like cloud.
So the game is a complete
blood. Just wipe it on the internet.
I mean, this is a similar review, really. This is by Magadog, who gives it a 0.
Magadog.
0. They didn't enjoy one aspect of it.
even though I personally really enjoyed this game, I've got a lot of sympathy for people who just didn't get on with it and left these reviews. So this person says, I'm writing this to help people like me. I've been a gamer since Pong in the 70s. I'm a 44-year-old man, blah, blah, blah. I love gaming, I like challenges, I hate this game. Some people really resonate with the series and the challenge to get good. But screw that, I like to be entertained for my hard-earned money and my scarce time. I think that's
a fair
the
comment.
time issue with me, if it hadn't been for the buddy system on some of the bosses, I think I'd have got really frustrated because my time, like I said earlier, it is finite for playing games.
It's a fair point.
Yeah.
And again, like you point back to, you've got the
I think it's a
internet,
fair
you
point,
can
but
look.
it's not a fair point to a 0 of the game. I mean, I can't. Well, I guess it comes back to that love it or hate it thing. I don't know. I think to make it a criticism of the game rather than a criticism of your situation whilst playing the game, if that makes sense, because the game itself is what it is. It's not there to be easy. It's not there to be this stuff.
But
it's
think
not
about
like again, it's the cheaply killing. If it was cheaply killing you in the thing, then I can understand getting a 0 and being really
It's
frustrating.
not badly
and annoying.
designed. It's just designed to be an absolute.
Yeah,
demon.
exactly. So I mean, on that level, I mean, I sympathise with someone who can't get any further and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I can't tell you it's a terrible game because of it. And that sort of buying advice of a game is not like it's a rubbish game for anyone who's like me. I don't know if it's...
The trouble is, anyone can do it if you level up your character. But it seems like the worst thing, hardest thing to do. But you can grind through that. You have to grind through that first.
Yeah, and I always think to myself, I'm just one of those people who really doesn't really ever care for these kind of this kind of difficulty. I always go. I was so sure I was going to hate this game. I still pay 50 quid for it. So sure I was going to hate this game, and but just going through and making sure you get through that time makes a massive difference.
But it's for me, it's a bit like a kind of quite a challenging novel, isn't it? You know, where you've got that. You know, there's novels where you go, it's just a slog at the start.
It's like Dubliners.
Oh God!
It's James Joyce the game.
James Joyce made a game. It would be this one. It would just be like, oh my good Lord, this is really hard work. But if you do put the effort in and get through the awfulness, you are rewarded ultimately.
But yes, you are. But there's a lot of
awfulness.
This is a game that if you're the sort of person who buys a console and then plays FIFA every year and you get the Call of Duty and you maybe picked up the Order and you thought, yeah, I quite like gaming, and then you saw this game's getting rave reviews and you picked it up without any knowledge of the series,
utterly disappointed.
You would be, and there's a lot of snobbery around these games, like coming through, having read the Metacritic reviews. There's a lot of snobbery around these games and people saying, oh, you're not a hardcore gamer if you don't like this game, which is ridiculous.
No, that is ridiculous, yeah.
But so this guy goes on to say, I gave it 8 hours of my life, my time was valuable to me, and 8 hours to stay in the same damn level is too much, and they took it back in the end. I think, like I say, I will defend this game, but I think that's a fair comment.
Yeah, and actually in that first bit, you can't beckon people, can you?
No, you have to get one portion of insight to beckon people.
So it's not until you get to the cleric beast that you
and also, if you've not been to the boss, you can't get... What was it? So the first time you die by the werewolf, you can get your axe and you can get your weapons. But it's only the first time you fight a boss you can level up. So if he's never even reached the point of the boss, he's never been able to level up.
Yeah, that's true.
But also, like we know, he wouldn't even if he had the insight, he might even not know how to level up anyway.
I think basically, so I mean, the game is for someone who they've got a bit about them, and they've got something about them when it comes to, if you play your games on easy every time without fail, and you can't hack it on medium or hard, and that's fine. That's the way you play your games. It's absolutely fine. It's only entertainment at the end of the day, but you probably... I don't want to say you should avoid the game, but you should probably take... It's a shame there's no demo, because that would probably let people work it out one way or the other.
I always think a demo would put people off even more, because a demo could only give you so much of a game.
Especially if it was the first area.
Why would I...
I just think that first area, as soon as you're past that first area, the game not only opens up hugely, but you feel like you can play the game a lot better.
Yeah.
And
it's almost worth just running through that first area, getting to the boss, getting your ass kicked, and then knowing from that point on you can level up.
Yeah.
That's probably the way to do it.
So should we have a few positives? So spoiler alert, I really like this game. But reading the reviews of people who rated it 10 on Metacritic, it could have turned me off the game because they're all pompous idiots. So
there's a lot of completionists.
Oh my goodness!
I don't know.
So Sir Nick 21.
I wonder how old he is.
So Nick Faldo.
So Nicholas
Maybe he was born in 1921. Imagine that.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
He gave it a 10.
Old.
He gave it a 10, and he says, "I find it hilarious how people complain about this game being too hard for them. Is it wrong for a game to be challenging and to not hold your hand all the way through? Maybe they'll release a special Noob Sauce edition where the enemies wield fluffy pillows."
I love a bit of Noob Sauce.
Where the enemies wield fluffy...
That sounds disgusting.
wield fluffy pillows and kiss you on the cheek instead of biting your neck off. Instead of crawling through an endless dark dungeon, they can make the city of Yarman a perfectly straight line with a checkpoint every 15 feet. The game is rated mature, so if you're going to buy it, maybe you should man up and stop being a little weakling. Anyway, I give this game a perfect score because that's what it deserves. I'm already hoping for a sequel.
So, okay, and we probably will get that sequel, but I think the thing is, it's the way Sony marketed it. They made it feel like it's a mainstream game that anyone could pick up and play and love and enjoy.
It's not
and
right.
it isn't.
It's because they wanted to sell copies of it.
Because I love the game, spoiler, I'm glad that Sony got their weight behind it, but I mean, so the game that started all this with From Software was, obviously Demon's Souls, and that game.
Do we have that around?
I'm not even going to bother doing that. But anyway, Demon's Souls.
It's in there anyway.
It's in there. It's
hiding in a cupboard.
Secreted away. But that game didn't come out with any fanfare. It grew kind of weirdly because it got big in Japan and it wasn't even available in the UK. And then eventually the kind of, the snowball started to get bigger and bigger, and eventually it came out over here. I actually bought the American copy long before it came out in the EU because I'm a gamer. I don't know if I call myself a hardcore gamer, but anyway, I'm a games journalist, so I knew about it and word of mouth and all that. And that's how that game got so big. This game, they've gone the other way around. They've gone, right, we're going to make this big. And we're going to bring it to our PS4 audience. But it isn't a game that everyone's going to understand, especially for a console that's sold like 20 million copies in the UK, whatever it is,
And I think there is a certain sense of people who've gone through it have got that sense of, when something becomes a cultish thing, there's that sense of superiority from the community. It's like, oh, what, you don't get it, you idiot.
Yeah, definitely.
And then that I think is in any kind of context is annoying and stupid, and people should stop it because it's like, this is a challenge. It's a challenge thing. It's not a simple thing. It's not meant to be a Call of Duty. It is a big game. It's I don't know how many units it's sold, but it's obviously done pretty well.
Well, the fact none of us have finished it, and we all know our stuff when it comes to games. We've all been playing games for a long time, but we're still relevant. We still know the latest games and everything. We're not out of touch with anything, and we all play our games on medium or hard or whatever. But even so, it's enough to keep. And I've not finished any of the games in this series. I've not finished any of the Dark Souls games.
So I don't think anybody can sit there and just say, oh well, you just don't get it, because that's just stupid. But that said, I think you're a testament to that, Dave. It's like there is the reward there, and you don't have to be that kind of archetypal nerdy forum type who just does, no offense to anybody like that, but who just basically has that sense of superiority. Actually, there is stuff for an average gamer.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm a bit surprised about that no reward comment on the, I don't know what that was the last one.
Second one,
yeah. Because I thought that is very wrong, because I really do feel like the reward is there. I'm very surprised that if they were that frustrated with the game to finally kill a boss and didn't feel any kind of reward. I mean, I just sort of think...
But from reading their comment, I think they just misunderstood what they had to do, and I think that's why they didn't get any sense of reward. Shall I wrap up with a couple?
I think we probably need to wrap up.
I just got a couple of one-liners.
Go
God.
These are both positives. So, if you were to describe this game as a person, which this person has done, who would you describe it as? That's my question to you. How would you define Bloodborne if you were to personify it?
It's like the Terminator, because it's bloody relentless, never gives up.
That's good.
And just keeps shooting you until you're dead.
Yeah, I mean, I've already said it, Harold Shipman.
Sure.
You've said it to us outside of the podcast. This is news to the viewers and listeners. Also, and you probably need to qualify who Harold Shipman is for most people who aren't British.
A doctor who killed a lot of old ladies. It's brutal. It's systematic. It hides its real purpose, and it kills a lot of old ladies.
It's involved in a lengthy court case.
And
this is the second Shipman shout out we've had on this podcast. What is going on?
They both from here as well.
What?
Do either of you two have one?
I don't know, Mr. Blobby. Just because he's a prick.
Really annoying.
Really true.
So,
I wish he was dead.
So this person, the Lou Bear, who gave it 10, says this game is unreal.
No, it's not. It's Bloodborne.
Very good. A bit of gaming joke.
Yeah. So this person says, if Megan Fox was a game, this would be her.
What?
She's the girl from Transformers movie.
Yeah, and she is quite a bit hard work apparently on set.
you think that's what they were going
I'm
for?
sorry, love. I heard you're quite hard work on set. No, I will not have a drink with you.
I wouldn't have.
That's just
vaguely
bizarre.
remember who she is, but they got a justification.
No.
Right, okay.
Anyway, so last
Maybe
one.
it's just saying it's beautiful.
But it's
Crap at acting.
All right,
Okay.
this brings us. Oh, go on.
just
last
one
thing.
last
thing,
one.
Wrap it up, Jack.
This one struck me as a bit odd.
Little Jack's corner.
This is by Mike.
Little Jack's segment, more like.
Yeah, Little Jack's hour.
I'm going my own spin-off podcast.
Punk
Just
to
me,
you.
just me reading out Metacritic comments. So this one's by Merker, who gives it a 10 and says,
Merkin.
when I finished this game for the first time, I got up out of my chair and started applauding.
So did I.
Honestly, see.
I've already been doing that, just like killing like a couple of the early bosses.
I slapped a
was that
doily
you?
on the
There
telly.
was one time when I actually was like, yes.
Yeah.
It was like when United scored. Anyway, right, so the final segment of the show is Quit or Continue, guys.
Yeah.
Dave, Mr. Whiteman over there, I will start with you.
Well, it's obviously a continue. I think just hearing those negative reviews, although I can completely understand where they're coming from, same with that Dan guy from IGN, I completely understood what he was saying. I just didn't really think like that's the game's fault. And so on judging the game, I just I can't look at it that way. It's ultimately rewarding, very, very difficult, but you know, once you get past those sections and all the shortcuts and all that kind of stuff, it's fantastic, and I can easily see myself completing the game. I don't want to play another game at the moment. I'm just so fixated on Bloodborne.
This is the first game for me that after we've finished it and we've gone. I mean, some of the games we've finished, which were brilliant, like The Last of Us or whatever. But this game, I've not quite finished it yet, and this is probably the first game that we've talked about. And I'll still go back to it afterwards.
Yeah.
Anyway, Andy, go for you.
Well, I think we from what I've said to you guys, I struggled with this game. I very nearly said that it should be a quick game, but ultimately, I think everything that we've said here is right. It is a continue. It is ultimately a game that expects a lot of you, but when it rewards you and when you see the kind of the light at the end of the tunnel, there are very few games that feel as kind of, you know, rewarding as this, and it does expect a lot of you, and it is awful at the start. Don't be under any illusions that you're going to enjoy quite a lot of this game from the first 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
But ultimately, if you do put the effort in, there is more than enough to keep going. So, caveated, bear it in mind, but it is a continue.
Cool, that's obviously a continue for me as well. So, I've played all the other Dark Souls, Demon Souls games, and this game, I don't think I can go back to them now because this game's so much faster and more fluid. Like the combat system,
Yeah, we should actually.
it's
cover
just
that.
it's so more rewarding in a way. You constantly feel like you're on the move. You actually, in the other games, you just can get, like you were saying, you can get in your corner and the boss just beats the hell out of you. In those games, it's like you can't even get out of the way. In this game, you always feel like you've got a chance, you've got an edge. And that's, I think, what makes it so much better than those. And it'll be interesting to see from this point where Dark Souls, if Dark Souls 3 is a thing, where that goes. Because I don't think it can be that slow anymore after this game, but I guess we'll see what they do. I also have to say, there's my favourite character ever in a game, pretty much is in this, so this guy. I won't spoil it for you where you get there, but there's a guy who basically, you befriend him, he goes back to this cathedral, and there's a lot of people this person says to, take them back to my cathedral, they'll be safe there. And this guy just murders them all one by one, and you're like,
Dr. Shipman.
So all my things, all my people I've been corralling are all now dead, thanks guy. Ultimately, it's like, it's the perfect version of Ghosts and Goblins for like this generation of console, because it's exactly that. You start out, you go through, you've got to learn the patterns of the boss, you've got to learn the pattern of the level, and it is just that old school 2D platformer, relentlessly hard, but in 3D action mode, and that's what I really love about it. So yeah, it's definitely a continue.
Cool. So, well, it's a continue from me as well.
Surprise,
Shocking.
surprise.
It's not when you get 4 out of 4 though, is it?
But I mean, like Andy said, there are caveats with this game, and I think if you're the sort of person who has the odd hour here and there to play a video game, do not buy this, because it requires a big investment of your time. It is ultimately really rewarding, but if you can't put that time in, you won't get anything else of it. The pause thing still irks me. I had some very quick wheeze whilst I was playing this game.
Yeah.
Especially when beckoning a bell.
Exactly, yeah.
I
I probably gave myself a hernia. But I really enjoyed the world. I always wanted to see what was round the next corner, which is you know, a great achievement for a video game where they're not just repeating the same sections over and over again. You feel like it's an actual universe they've created. And it sort of took me back to the PS1 days. We had all these really deep, interesting games coming out of Japan where they were slightly off kilter and slightly weird, and you just wanted to see what's around the next corner. So yeah, continue from me as well.
All right, it's 4 out of 4, guys. It's pretty damn good. All right, that just leaves me to say that. So next time, 2 weeks' time, we're actually going to be doing an E3 predictions post. But at the same time as that, we are going to be playing Wolfenstein, revisiting an old friend, Wolfenstein Old Blood.
Yeah.
That's our first ever podcast was Wolfenstein.
Yeah,
so this is a sequel.
11 episodes in, we're redoing our first one. That's
I'm
pretty...
on the goddamn moon.
So this is
so in 4 weeks' time, basically, that's when we'll be doing
Raining
Wolfenstein.
Nazis.
So should we explain what it is? So it's like a expansion pack.
Well, yeah, it's an expansion pack of
We're not
hey, it's out. It's out now. It's like 15 quid.
Yeah.
Buy it. Contribute to the next Quit Continue and tweet us at Quit
Tell us what you
Continue.
think.
All right, we're out. I am Mike Plant GC. You are
Andy Lachlan. Oh, sorry. At Media Scribbles.
At TLD Dave.
At QLC Jack.
cool. We're out. Till next time.